Roger, what we got going on today?
Today we've got an awesome day. We have about 25 guys out here on Indian Lake. Out here today with Jason Amato from Takedown Outdoors. Awesome, baby.
Alright, Michigan, here we come. I am now officially legal. I am going to try fishing in Michigan. Something else I've never done. So I've been ice fishing. Now I am going to be fishing for bass, crappie, bluegill, whatever we got. And we got the River Pro. Now, we're not on a river, mind you. So I'm trusting Rod as my great guide that the River Pro is going to be able to hold up on the water.
Pretty much a Texas rig, Gary Yamamoto bait.
Yamamoto.
Just kind of a little dead stick, 3/0 hook, some super braid. Looking to hook them by the lip.
Full Saturday here up in Michigan. With Rod, father. Father's informed me of the daddy rules. They don't apply to me. Nope. Although I did get Rod to bait my hook for me.
There you go.
He's not taking the fish off, so.
That's next, Greg.
Man, it feels good to get a fish on the line. I haven't hooked a fish in a couple of years, so. There we go, fish on. First fish of 2011. Little bass. All right, got to thank my guide Rod here. First fish, 2011. This is where we start. Hopefully his dad's really hungry and just, like myself, hasn't gotten out of bed quite yet. Here we go.
Where he is.
Ooh, daddy.
See what we got this. See what we got here. See if we got a little.
Look at that.
Oh.
Another largemouth.
Yeah. He had a little encounter with a northern pike there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
How about that?
What is that? Like he got
Looks
a
like
tear?
he almost lost his tail.
Oh, somebody else was hungry this morning.
All right.
Fish on.
Oh yeah.
Another nice largemouth.
It is a nice one.
All right. Another nice largemouth here. It is just getting hotter. Lunchtime is approaching. I've already dabbled with my sour watermelons. I got the guys on board eating sour watermelons. Just the trick. That's what we needed. We're doubling down here. Cameraman Rod has a fish on his. I got a fish on mine. We're rocking and rolling here. The bass are literally jumping into the boat, Asian carp style.
I want to share with you what really excites me about God. And I believe that if you look throughout the Bible, and I've just seen in my own life that God, by his very nature, is adventurous. And we're at an outdoors thing, and we're talking about these outdoor clubs and all these things that we're a part of, whether it be golf, fishing, hunting. And adventure strikes at the heart of each and every one of us. And so I break it down in basically 3 ways that I see God being adventurous. 1, he's wild. Number 2, he loves to pick the underdog. And number 3, he's a risk taker. And I think all 3 of those add up to be a very adventurous God. Let's start off with number 1, how he's wild. I love C.S. Lewis, and I love a lot of his writings, and really resonate a lot with the movies that have came out. They're not obviously as good as the books, as that's kind of with every movie, but The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And there's a scene towards the end of the movie where they're looking back, and Aslan is painting the picture of, you know, this magnificent lion. And I don't remember the name of the girl, but she looks and she says something about it, and the other character looks back and says, "He's a good lion, but he's not a tame lion. And that's just awesome. I'm glad that he is a good God, but he's not tame. He's extremely wild. And that just fires me up. I'm going to look at the book of Job for a little bit here. And it's Job 39. And this is where the story of Job, we always, think about so much. Our first thought is, okay, Job suffered and all these things. And this is just a part where Job's been just wrestling through this whole thing, and kind of the Lord kind of is putting him in his place, and he's kind of coming back and speaking back to Job. And I love one of the things that he uses. He uses wild animals. And it just goes on this little God just goes on this little tirade of just almost bragging, at least the way I read it, about his creation and how wild it is. And I'm just going to read some of it to you. This is God speaking to Job. Do you know when the mountain goat gives birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawns? Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied his ropes? I gave him the wasteland as his home. He laughs at the commotion in the towns. He does not hear a driver's shout. He ranges the hills for his pasture and searches for any green thing. Will the wild oxen consent to serve you? Will he stay by your manger at night? Do you give the horses strength or clothe his neck with a flowing mane? Do you make him leap like a locust, striking tear with his proud snorting? He paws fiercely, rejoicing in his strength, and charges into the fray. He laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. He does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against his side along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, he eats up the ground. He cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread its wings towards the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build its nest on high? And he goes on, a bunch of different animals, but it's just so cool to see God get excited about his creation. And I thought to myself, we hear the story about, the lion and the lamb, or, he's the shepherd and the sheep, but thank goodness he didn't just create just a bunch of sheep. Thank goodness that we were just talking earlier today about this lake and all the different species, not just bass. There's crappie, there's bluegill, there's sunfish, there's northern pike, and each one of them is just amazingly, amazingly made. And I just think for myself, I grew up, I used to work in pet shops, and used to have all these fish tanks growing up as a kid, and animals, and feeding mice to things, and goldfish to other things, and just being fascinated with just all the different kinds of species that are out there. And I want to just kind of bring it back to, we're fishermen, some of us are hunters. Fishing. Think back to, I think it was about a year and a half ago, I was down in the Gulf of Mexico, and we were just having a great day, just catching some fish, and out of the blue, just my line the whole reel goes down, the rod goes down, the reels spin and everything else. Ended up catching a 9-foot shark, and was blown away. And so we got the footage of this thing, and as he pulls this thing up by the boat, I'm just thinking to myself, you're just shaking. I didn't know why I was shaking. It wasn't out of fear, it was more out of I couldn't believe just how powerful this fish was. And it was just so cool to see just how, I'd never seen anything like it that up close, and just how cool that was. And hunting, you guys know that I'm a huge bow hunter. I could live in a tree stand, and it amazes me time and time again how difficult it is to shoot a white-tailed deer, especially with a bow and arrow. Like, they are so smart. God has blessed them with such a great sense of smell. I have to check the weather. You know how it is. You have to check which the wind directions are. 9 times out of 10, they snort, they find you. It is such a challenge, but God has just designed that white-tailed deer just so amazingly. And that fires me up, because that's the God that I serve. Other than animals, I also was just thinking about, jotted down topography. In Genesis 1:31, the Lord's got done creating, everything through the earth, and he says it's very good. I don't just say it's good, it's very good. And he's looking at his creation, and I love to travel. And I am so grateful, as much as I love the fall and I love getting up in tree stands and hunting, I'm so glad he didn't just create a giant cornfield. I love that there's mountains. I just got to do some fly fishing out in Colorado last month, and just being there and seeing the rivers just cutting through the mountains. And then to come to the fall and to hunting season and be able to walk through the cornfields and everything. It's amazing, the variety that God has just placed on the earth for us to enjoy.
We are We're here this afternoon. You know I take my sour watermelons everywhere with me. However, we got a little twist. I guess when you're in Michigan, these take on a whole new meaning. This is Rod's dad, and what are these to you?
Pop-Tarts.
So now every time I eat them, I gotta think of a Pop-Tart. Somehow, Sour Patch watermelons are Pop-Tarts. We're gonna have Pop-Tarts this afternoon and catch us some more bass.